My presentation is on how coal-fired power plants affect the environment and how they affect the people with pollution. To give an example, the first coal-fired power plant was established in 1882, and coal-fired power plants burn coal in order to produce energy, but in turn, this energy releases chemicals into the air. The factories that are built here will destroy a lot of land in order to make the space and will move wildlife such as like relocating animals to different areas or forcing them into becoming an invasive species almost to another ecosystem near them. This will cause a lot of shift in the environment, such as invasive species or animals dying because they can't survive in certain conditions. Power plants here are also producing a number of chemicals such as carbon dioxide, which cars emit too, and power plants emit them on a much grander scale than cars due to the amount of use and the constant need for power. In this video, the Weather Channel talks about how coal-fired power plants worsen pollution in Indiana, in southwest Indiana to be exact, and it goes over how a study was conducted and the effects it has on the residents near those factories, near those power plants. This is a picture of a coal-powered plant and in Rumpal, Bangladesh, and this power plant was in the middle of much controversy due to the fact that it was being built near mang massive mangrove forest, the Sundarbans mangrove forest to be exact, and they knew that building this power plant would cause trouble for the environment around it, especially the mangrove forest and the animals living inside of it. But the need for power is too high, so they went through with the plans to build it, which has caused many animals uh, different diseases and sicknesses and illnesses, along with the people living near those factories. A 2004 study shows that the effects of pollutions have caused over 13,000 deaths per year that have come from power plants that are emitting CO2 caused by pollution. And not only does it cause death, it also causes asthma attacks, cardiovascular diseases, and respiratory diseases. And since the effects of the pollution are so wide that building a power plant itself takes up a big amount of the environment, the pollution will also reach out to the animals that were relocated, possibly if they didn't get too far. And even the emissions can change the weather due to the amount of different chemicals in the air. It could cause acid rain as well. The effects of pollution on the body can cause many different problems with the brain, lungs, heart, blood, and the rest of the circulatory system. The blood will experience more blood clots. The brain will be more inclined to have a stroke, maybe. And the lungs will asthma attacks, scar tissue being damaged, and so on. What has been done to mitigate pollution has been the US has signed the Clean Air Act in 1970, which attempted to stop pollution in general, but mostly focus on car CO2 emissions, but also has worked its way towards factories and power plants. And an Australian student has also come up with a design that absorbs most of the chemicals, about 90% of the chemicals that are being emitted through those chimney stacks, and will reuse it as a different power source. So it will recycle the energy, but there will be an 18% power loss. The thing is, power plants do not use the student's method because it hasn't been widely accepted and it hasn't been proven out in the field in a study or in many factories. In this picture, it's the signing of the Clean Air Act in 1970. Richard Nixon was in the office at the time. He was the president. Another way that should be used to minimize pollution or to even stop it in the future entirely would be to make a new international organization that sends environmental scientists from all the countries that should participate and will be invited to participate. And these scientists will monitor the world and their country specifically to make sure their carbon footprint is going down and to bring new ways for the countries to lower pollution from factories, power plants, and to like be able to really mitigate pollution in any way, shape, or form. As you can tell, my argument is against power plants polluting the earth in very severe ways. And my argument had many factual statements using citations from many credible sources, such as the US government in exactly many different places. And I use ideas that are known to the public, such as pollution is bad and carbon dioxide, CO2, is a pollutant. So when I say factories are polluting the environment, people understand that they're in, that pollution is bad because the factories are emitting CO2, and CO2 is very dangerous and bad for the environment.